Hi, this video is going to talk about, in the engineering tab, the design section in the engineering tab. We've already covered setup, we've already covered the screen, we've covered the eyeball, we covered the wrench, and we covered the control commands down here in this corner in the previous video. So we're going to focus on just the design in this video. So what we're going to talk about, first of all, is the envelope. Our envelope is the area we get to design in. So what is our design envelope? How high, basically, can our bridge be? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the eyeball. And when the eyeball gets turned on, you can see that there's this shape in here, and that kind of gives us their size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cycle through so I can get it to the left view, so I can see it from the left-hand side. And then I'm going to turn on my wrench. The wrench will open up the docking station. And you notice we have a couple items here that are available to change. So one of the things is height. And if you take a look, it is default at 40 millimeters. So this height from here to here is 40 millimeters. It means our bridge would be 40 millimeters tall, along with what we set up in the bridge site in the setup, where our bridge is 300 millimeters long, 40 millimeters tall. And we will have a range in here, so you can do anywhere between 40 and 50 millimeters. So I'm going to change this to 50 just so you see how this changes. And notice, I typed the 50 in here. Nothing took effect, and nothing will until I click the apply button. Remember, always hit the apply button. So once I hit apply, you're going to notice that this will increase in size. Okay, so that's our 50 millimeter. So when we set up for our design envelope, you can go somewhere between 40 and 50 millimeters. You can make it 46 if you want to. That's perfectly fine. Then as we go down here, you're going to see we have the sketch templates, and we have truss types. And there's a drop-down menu here. And this drop-down menu gives us a Warren 1, a Warren 2, a Pratt, and a Howe. Those are different truss styles. If you don't remember what they are, if you want to go back to research, okay, and you go into background, what you do is just come down here, and you can see here's our Warren trusses right here. Our Warren 1, our Warren 2, our Pratt, and our Howe. And it's just basically how the internal webbing of the truss bridge goes together. And you can see they're slightly different from each other and stuff like that. These names came from their designers, Warren, Pratt, and Howe. And these are some of the standard types of trusses that you will find out there. So I'm going to go back to the engineering tab. So you can pick whatever style you wanted in here. So I'm just going to leave it at Warren 1. Okay. Then it says number of bays, and it's automatically set to 5. And what the bays are, I'm going to take you back to research just to kind of explain it so we have a picture to see. And when we get down here, the bays are this area between this point and this point is one bay. Point between here and here is another bay. Here and here is another bay. Here and here is another bay. So every time you have one of your webbing pieces come down and connect, that's the beginning of one and the end of one. Then the beginning and end. Now we have 3 of them connect here. There's no bays right in here. The bay starts from where these 3 connect to where this one connects. So this one's a 1, 2, 3, 4 bay. This one's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bay. We'd move to this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, another 8 bay. So that's the bays. So you can set the bay up to whatever you like. Keep it reasonable. Don't go too wild. I would stay somewhere under 10 bays and do that. So I'm just going to leave mine at Warren 1, and 5. Okay, so that is how you explain this. You can change these. Remember, 40 to 50 millimeters. You can pick whichever truss style you want to start with. Remember, you can modify the truss as you go. This is just kind of a starting point. And then how many bays you want. Remember, after you get all that set, apply and done. Now, if you notice, nothing can be seen here other than our envelope. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the eyeball for our 2D truss. And now you notice it shows up there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our envelope off because they don't line up. So it's just going to be kind of confusing. So I'm going to shut the envelope off and we're just going to have our 2D truss. Okay. And if you take a look at it, this is our Warren 1, just what we picked. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bay. Okay. So this is what we picked to do. I'm going to turn my wrench on. Okay. And basically what I want to show you here, there's nothing really you need to change here, but I want to show you what it's saying. So in this, it talks about the chord, and we're in the upper section. You notice I have an upper, lower, web, and all, and I can pick whichever one. In the upper section, chord. And then when you go down here, it talks about the member, 7, 8. What we're talking about is the upper section right here, 7, 8. It's talking about this piece between 7 and 8. The next one over here is 8 and 9. So it's talking about this piece between 8 and 9. And 9 and 10 is talking about this piece between 9 and 10. Because we're upper section. Okay. Notice it gives us some options. Are they 2.4 millimeter balsa? Are they 3.2 millimeter balsa? Are they 2.4 basswood? Are they 3.2 basswood? And are they laminated? We want to make sure we keep 3.2 millimeter size. So we're just going to make sure that they're all in the balsa, 3.2 millimeter, and nothing is checked here. We don't want to laminate. Now this just talks about upper. I can do the lower ones, and if you take a look at the members that lists here, it lists these members right across the bottom in the lower. So it just talks about this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. And then if I go to the web, if you take a look at the members, it just talks about the members that are between the upper and lower. So this, all those right through here. So it talks about that. And if I click all, it shows all of them. So it shows the upper, the lower, and the web, and they have them listed in here, through that. Again, make sure they're all balsa. That's the only thing that should be clicked on here. Don't change any of that. Okay. And if you want to make sure it automatically is default to that. So if you want to make sure you didn't make any mistakes in there, just click reset and click done, and it is right. Okay. So that is your 2D truss look. Now this is where you also can make your design or start changing this. So this is our Warren 1, and we can change things. The one thing I want you to know you can't change is you cannot do anything with the lower buttons here, the lower points. But I can take my upper one and I can move that there, and I can move this one here. And if I wanted to, I can, do this one up a little bit and do this one up a little bit more. So I can get them all lined up how I want. And if you notice, you have measurements up here, measurements here. So if I get in here and I know I'm at 130, maybe I want to make sure this one's at 130. So then I know that this one and this one are equal to each other in the exact place. This one's at 28 and 50. Maybe I want to make that one over here at 30 and make this one, make sure this one's at 30. And now I know they're all kind of mirrored from each other. So maybe that's the style or the size of bridge or the style of bridge I want to work in. Okay. So that's kind of how you adjust and rearrange and kind of play with that. Okay. When we move on to the next ones here, there's a view of the 3D truss. Notice there is no wrench option. There's nothing to click here. So there's nothing that will change in that one. If I click on this, what it does is it takes and says, okay, this is what it's going to look like if we built it with the balsa wood. Notice it gets kind of confusing. So I probably want to shut my 2D off, and then I can look at and go, okay, that's what it looks like. And if I wanted to, I can take this, and now it has both the either side of the bridge, and I can rotate it and look at it and say, okay, that's what the 3D truss looks like that I'm going to build. Okay, so that's what the 3D truss portion is. I'm going to shut that. Well, no, I'm going to leave that on. We're going to talk about the floor, because every bridge obviously needs a floor in here, something to walk on, something for cars to drive on, whatever type of bridge it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the wrench, and just to show you that there is something that shows up, but there's nothing you can change. It just tells you that the material is still balsa 3.2. The floor is laminated, okay, and the stringers that go across the floor. So what they're talking about here is the floor beams are the ones that go this way, and the stringers are the ones that go across and connect the truss to the floor. Those are also balsa, and there's 5 of them. So there's probably going to be one here, there's one here, one in the middle, and then one somewhere between here and somewhere between there. So that's what that looks like. There's nothing to change here. Nothing can be changed. I can't do anything. So I'm just going to click done out of that. I'm going to click my eyeball to show you what the floor looks like. And so now the floor goes in. Notice, I'm going to bring that back up. Notice it says that I have 5 stringers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's my stringers, my red ones. Okay, I told you that those go this way. And then my floor beams, okay, come this way, right here. So there's my floor beams, and these are laminated. Okay, so that's what that shows you. So now you can kind of get a look at, see what your bridge is going to kind of look like with a floor in. Now, okay, so the next thing I'm going to show you is a roof. Okay, in the roof there is, well, I'm going to show you the wrench. In the wrench, you can pick different bracing types. And I'm going to turn this a little bit so you can see the bracing. The bracing is going to come up on top of your truss. So right now, if I go and turn on my roof, this is the standard bracing. Okay, so it's one here, one here, one here, one here. So it just takes these points where, and this was, if you remember when you designed it, that's where your dots were. Okay, and it just puts points across that connect those 2 trusses together at the top. Okay, you could go with none, and if I apply that, it'll should take those bracings away. Maybe I got to redo. There, now my bracings are gone. Okay, so I can do, so my bracings are gone. And then if I go to X bracing, now it goes and takes the standard, the 1 standards, but then it makes also an X across here. Okay, so that is the X bracing versus a standard and none. You can pick whatever one you would like. So I'm going to leave that as that. I'm going to apply it. I'm going to be done. I'm done with that one. Now, as you take a look at it, I've got my whole bridge together. But I have my whole bridge together, and I'm looking at 3 different views to get my whole bridge together. If I want, I can just shut these views off and just turn this view 3D structure on, and I get the same thing with all 3 views. Again, no wrench for this one. Okay, there is no wrench for this one. So that's kind of how you go through and design your bridge to see what you're going to work with and see what you can get done. And you can always come back and take this, and I would probably shut this off just to make things less confusing. Why is it? Okay, shut this off, shut that off, done. Okay, mine is glitching a little bit. But if we got rid of that, we could turn on my 2D trusses here, and I could readjust and maybe bring this down and this one down a little bit. So I do that. And then if I have that taken care of, now you notice my other one, it shortened up a little bit. So everything can be changed and stuff like that. So you can, that's how you go and modify your bridge. So that is the end of this video on the design section of the engineering tab. The next video we'll talk about the analysis and what you're going to look for load tests and things like that, and what you're really trying to accomplish and to get the best bridge possible.